Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Savannah Jolie. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'd already know this, but my fiance Ryan and I have been doing what we call border dates. Ryan is in Washington and I'm in Canada, and so we're currently separated by the border closures and unable to see each other. So we decided that we would meet where our countries meet. We made a TikTok about it and posted it, and it went viral like overnight. And so we've been doing lots of interviews and getting lots of questions and comments about how this works, what we're doing, and how people can do the same thing. So I thought it'd be easier if I just made a video about it and I can share the link with people who have questions. So Ryan and I got engaged on March 1st this year, and we were separated as of I think the 12th or 13th of March. So basically 2 weeks into our engagement, the border wasn't closed, but Canadians were being recommended to go into quarantine whenever they've returned from the US. I came home from Washington the day the recommendation came out, and during that time the border closed so we could no longer see each other. At first, this was so hard for so many reasons. Obviously, just not being able to see each other. We also had to change all of our wedding plans because our wedding was supposed to be May 8th. Now, for a while we had been planning to just do a smaller gathering, and then restrictions got tighter. We decided to do an even smaller gathering, and now we're kind of at the point where we don't even know when we can have our wedding because they've extended the border closure for another 30 days. So for us, we're just kind of waiting to see what happens and then go from there. But at this point, we'll miss our wedding date as the closure will go past our wedding date. So that's really sad just to think that we'll have to experience the day we're supposed to get married and not be able to get married. But we know that there's a lot of people that are in our position, whether couples have canceled their weddings or postponed them till next year or till things die down, or they've had to move up their plans and just elope and totally scrap their entire plan. We also know we're not alone in being separated. Obviously, because of COVID, we're separated, but we know that there's a lot of people around the world that are separated for various reasons, and our heart really goes out to those people. So since I've been getting a lot of messages as to how we're having our border dates, I really just want to answer some questions here. I had the idea before the border even closed, but we knew it was a probability. And once it officially closed, I kind of pitched the idea to him about meeting at the border, and he didn't really like it. I think it's just really hard to see someone in person but not be able to touch them or hug them, especially when you're going through something that's really hard. But eventually, I think we just got really desperate and missed each other. So a couple weeks later, we decided we'd try it. It is April 1st. It has been 3 weeks since I have seen Ryan. You guys want to know what that is? That's my soon-to-be husband. Right there. There he is. Oh, separated by a border. Sheesh. Honestly, I was pretty nervous. I thought, well, no, like, are we gonna get in trouble? What's the border gonna say? Like, we weren't gonna try and cross or do anything stupid, but I was just kind of worried that it was something that we weren't allowed to do. There's a road in the Fraser Valley that goes along the US borderline. And so I just looked on Google Maps on that road where there's US roads that match up. We dropped a pin next to each other. We need to drop a pin on their side of the border, or else it's gonna tell them to go to the nearest border cross. So it's easier if you just drag the pin to the US side if you're giving the instructions to someone in the US, or the Canadian side if you're telling the person in Canada or putting it into your maps. So we just dropped a pin, we parked on the side of the road, and we went for a walk. I cried like the biggest tears. It wasn't like a kind of cry, it was just like big tears coming down my face. It had been like a month since we had seen each other, which I know is really pathetic for long distance couples, but I think it wasn't just that we hadn't seen each other, but just so much had happened. We had to cancel our wedding. We didn't know when we could see each other next at that point. And obviously just all the trauma that goes on with everything that's happened with COVID-19. So I cried big time. And it was hard to cry and not even be able to hug, but we went for a walk. So where we originally were, there's a big ditch in between us, and so we couldn't even touch if we wanted to. We went for a walk, and then we just hung out, and it was so nice to see each other. And so once we did that, we realized it's something that we could do and probably should do more often. We didn't have any issues with Border Patrol. In fact, they drove by several times and just waved. So We started doing it more often. So I'd bring a lawn chair, blankets, Ryan would bring snacks, coffee, honestly whatever we want we bring. We're both coffee and snack people, so we both usually have our own stash of goods. We don't bring anything to share, and then we just find a place to sit. The road is quite busy on the Canadian side and cars go ridiculously fast. It also gets noisy, so we don't have to shout, but if there's cars driving by, then we just kind of stop talking because you can't really hear anything. We've tried to get creative with things to do. I've heard like other couples and families will play games, or we've tried to figure out how to do a movie. We both love to board, so I have a penny board and a skateboard. Ryan has a longboard. So we usually go up and down the road, and it's kind of fun because there's lots of families and couples along the way. So it's just nice to see just a community of people trying to make the best of a situation. Some of the comments on TikTok were so funny to me. Like, there was a thread debate because I said that I live in Canada and Ryan lives in America, and I guess for some people they just couldn't comprehend that I called the US America because we're all in North America, which is true, but here we call the United States the US, the States, and we also call it America. I'm fully aware that I live in North America and that the US is a separate country than mine. But also people were arguing about how many continents there are, and that South America, Central America, and North America are all one continent. Some people commented stay home, which is so fair. It's totally fair. We are in the middle of a pandemic and people should be taking health and safety seriously. But where we both are, we're allowed to go outside. We just have to social distance. And so as long as we're keeping our distance from those who are also there and each other. I know that in some parts of the world right now, people can't even leave their homes, and it makes me so sad. I can't imagine how hard it would be to live in an apartment or condo and not even be able to just go outside and see the sun, especially if you don't have a balcony. So we do really understand that our situation, we are super privileged to be able to go outside and be in fresh air. I plead with you, if you're going to do this with a loved one, please be respectful of the laws, the health recommendations, the Border Patrol. Some are really chill and way more laid back than others. They won't be upset if you're sitting closer, like in areas where there isn't a ditch in between, but some of them will be pretty upset if you're close to the borderline. So just do your part to be respectful of them and respectful of the borderline, and we just want to preserve this right and privilege that we have right now, and we don't want to ruin it for ourselves or for other families. Yeah, we do recommend that you follow the restrictions and the guidelines that your government and health authorities have put out in whatever region you're in. And if it's possible for you to do what we've done, then do it. Awesome. See your loved ones. It's really hard to be so close yet so far, but it's nice to have a little bit of hope in such a hard time, and it's a little bit better than FaceTime. So I hope that you guys are staying healthy and are encouraged and hopeful. Ryan and I are both Christians, and we really believe that God is sovereign and over the situation. That's kind of all I wanted to say in this video. If you have questions or comments, leave them below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because I'm hoping to do more videos on me and Ryan's love story, our journey, but also just on life. So thanks for tuning in. Bye guys.